Welcome, everyone. Happy Wednesday. I'm the Gray Strega, and I'm here to give you your daily collective read for today, Wednesday, October 23rd, 2024. What do we have coming through in the cards for today? May I please have the first two cards in our 5-card spread? First two cards we are starting our day off with today are, we've got the 8 of Swords in combination with Magician card in its reversal. Now, let's talk about this, because this is a bit of that energy that we were talking about in relationality to Scorpio season. Welcome, Scorpio season. There may be some uncomfortability now. We were talking about this. So one of the things that we talk about with Scorpio season is the ability to navigate energetic discomfort, right? That ability of just kind of, I want to say, vibing out in a point of energetic discomfiture. This is like Scorpio's like specialty, like a scorpionic specialty, because that sense of, again, going under the surface, navigating forward into energetically discomfortable places. Why do we feel that inclination to do so? Because that's often how we energetically heal. That's often how we energetically heal. You have to be able to navigate a space of energetic discomfort in order to come into a space of perception, in order to come into a space of clarity. So we see even now that for a lot of the energy navigating forward in that way, working through that hard part, doing a lot of that energetic unpacking. It's frustrating. It's hard. It can feel very energetically triggering as you do so. But at the same time, what occurs in those spaces and places where you navigate something that would have previously triggered you? But instead, you just don't, you're like, oh, you know what I mean? Like that sense or space, and I need to stress this. This is not what we're seeing as disassociation, right? This isn't the energy that like separates themselves away from something because something is too energetically unpleasant. This is that introspection. This is that delving deeper, if you will, that allows for a lot of that energetic healing. Now, this is having a different impact depending on where you find yourselves on the frequency cycles. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union at this time, a lot of this work that we're seeing even now, right? Identifying, recognizing, working through one's own limitations, working through one's own hurdles. This is a lot of that energy that is navigating forward in such a way, and that clarity of perspective, if you will, that ability of perceiving something in a different way. This is a lot of the work that we see that the energy deep within divine union is doing right now. And what's intriguing about it, and I need to stress this, is there's a tirelessness that we're seeing for a lot of the energy deep within divine union. And a lot of it is coming through right now in, I want to say, like navigating through energetic obstacles with that sense of clarity. Like there's a lot of that energy here that I'm just seeing that is working through a lot of that space. And for a lot of it, it's hard and difficult because this is energy that has been working so far and so fundamentally on the self that even here, that ability of identifying and recognizing. And this is also a little bit of the gift of working with the energetic counterpart, that perception of the self that is amplified and articulated back to the self. This is a lot of the energy deep within divine union that is having those tendencies brought forward towards them to a certain extent, right? But what happens in that inclination of recognizing and identifying one's own energetic hurdles? What is that energy saying to one another deep within it? They're articulating and saying, you're too energetically hard on yourself. You often like overly correct, right? A lot of that sense of being almost like working through that identification point of identifying what one's own tendencies are. This is what's allowing for so much of that healing, because if this is the energy that typically overcorrects, right? often comes into that space of energetically blaming themselves. This is a lot of the energy deep within divine union, providing one another that catharsis, providing one another that context of healing, and almost saying to one another in that space that one's own ability, and this is more about that talk, the conversation that we were having over the last few days in navigating energetic confusion, right? What is confusion on a trajectory? Confusion on a trajectory is learning. So this is a lot of the energy that says to one another and reaffirms that work and says, look, if you're just now identifying a limitation from the past, congratulations. Like, congratulations. Because that identifies the ability to change. It identifies the ability to adapt. It identifies the ability to adjust. And so even here, this is that identification of obstacle, all for the sake of being able to move out through it, right? Now, for masculine and feminine, these energies are very much in alignment, because we were identifying and recognizing that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, a lot of this work that we're energetically seeing, a lot of that identification point, this is effectively the energy that is having that work occurring presently around them. We spoke about so much of this energy right now doing that work, identifying one's own energetic limitations. But this is more of that internalized process, because this is the energy that is potentially feeling triggered in the process of healing. And what is that energy having to do right now? Amplifying and reaffirming upon the past that is energetically revisited, but also healing oneself in the process. Because if this is the energy that is just now seeing something that may have previously been an energetic hurdle, previously seen a tendency that of overcorrecting that may have moved you away from what it is that you are trying to aspire for, or the ability of taking on too much energetic weight for the sake of helping someone come into a place of easement and then never being able to give that energetic weight back. There's a lot of this work right now that is feeling that sense of energetic balance coming into divine union. But it hurts to heal. It's hard. It's triggering. Because again, and we spoke about this, masculine healing a lot of those wounds in intimacy, feminine working through a lot of those wounds in trust. This is a lot of that energy that has to almost look at the past and redefine and articulate and say that that perception of it, that the ability one perceives the past in a certain way, it's a reaffirmation of not moving back towards it, but moving forward into the future. And for a lot of this energy right now, that affirmation and even articulating and defining this, we were describing this yesterday, the difference between saying to oneself, I am trying. This is the energy saying we're not trying, we're actively doing. Because in the space of trying, that sense of purpose, that sense of identifying that the word try is just a qualifier upon what you are doing and how well you feel you're doing it. This is the energy that almost corrects themselves and says, we're not trying at all, we're actively doing that. For a lot of the energy in separation right now, I'm just identifying that a lot of this work that we're seeing at this time, and I need to stress this, this is energy in separation. I don't see the energy in separation like working tenaciously to come into union. Why is this is energy that is moving very slowly in the process of coming into new potential partnership. Why? Because again, masculine working through those same energetic wounds of intimacy, feminine working through those wounds of trust. When we're building trust, what is the one vector that we need? Time. And so this is a lot of the energy I'm seeing even now in separation, potentially reaching, I want to say like a comfortability point in some spaces here, like enjoying the energetic sweet spot to a certain extent. Because we're just identifying and recognizing right now that for a lot of that energy, having that modality, and I want to say that there's some energy right now in separation, letting go of the energetic outcome, because that satisfaction point and feeling like you're moving in alignment or you're starting to come towards someone that has the same manifestation goals as you, Like there's a lot of energy right now that I feel like isn't rushing that process because they feel very healthy in relationality as to where they are right now. Center card for our spread for today is, we have here our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. So we just see that for a lot of the energy right now in separation, this is what I mean about navigating energetic discomfort in a different way. I just see even now like a lot of that energy in separation almost saying to themselves, I'm good right now. I'm in that modality of comfortability. And what's interesting about this, I see that even now for a lot of the energy in separation, something that may have felt more energetically uncomfortable in the past, it doesn't necessarily feel so. Do you see these cards right now? Like, do you see these cards in terms of the movement through them? We've got something here that we're identifying, something that would have felt more like an energetic limitation. Taking that energetic limitation, reframing it, recontextualizing it, allowing that to be the energetic breakthrough point. Like this is giving a lot of that energy of feeling of the limitation that becomes the energetic breakthrough, right? Because it's all based upon one's own perception of it. So this is a lot of the energy right now, and this is a bit of the joy of the Scorpio season coming in. Energy of the Scorpio season saying thinking outside the box, doing something in a different way, not allowing oneself to feel limited, but allowing oneself to feel adaptable, right? This is the energy, this is like the journey of the Scorpio energy that says, that ability to be like the ability to move around energetic hurdles. This is a lot of that energetic transformation process that we see, because that's the energy that what does the Scorpio often do when they're in those modalities? Scorpio is beautiful at transformation. So what does the Scorpio say to us? The Scorpionic energy says to us, when you're in a space and it doesn't suit, if it feels limiting, change who you are. Change how you perceive something. Change how you adapt to a situation, because this is the energy that says so long as you can find an energetic change, there's always the energetic solution to a problem. It requires adaptability. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, and so we see even now a lot of that energetic change is potentially taking place right now for energy and separation. Potentially even recognizing and feeling that in the past, one saying, I would have felt very limited in this modality had this been a cycle of about maybe 8 months ago. This is a lot of energy that says it doesn't feel limiting right now. It feels freeing. It feels liberating, right? So we see even now a lot of that transformational energy coming to the surface. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now that is coming into divine union, this is, I told you, I'm going to say it again, because this is everything I keep seeing in relationality to the work that the energy coming into divine union is doing right now. How are things going? Awful. Like saying awful with a smile on one's face, right? Because this isn't the energy that isn't being genuine in that sentiment, but that sense of feeling the joy of doing something energetically difficult, right? Like that sense of abundance or gratitude that one feels when you're doing something that is paying off. You're doing something that is working, but it's very difficult. It's very hard. It feels overwhelming, right? So that is the bird, they're saying the burden of the blessing, right? That work of doing something being it's exhausting, but you're happy to be able to do it. So this is a lot of that energy that's coming into divine union, working through those energetic limitations, and it's uncomfortable. It's deeply uncomfortable, right? This is the energy of the acquired taste. Someone being I hate this, but then being is it working? Yes, but I still hate it, right? That's a lot of that energy. That's a lot of that energy that you come into in that process, because that's the energy that feels that frustration and being yeah, I know I hate it, but it doesn't, even though you hate it, doesn't mean it's not working, right? Even though you hate it doesn't mean that it's not working. So we see even now a lot of that energy moving out of their comfort zone, feeling a lot of that energetic frustration in the process. But at the same time, is the energy saying, would you change it? The energy is going, no, I wouldn't change it at all because I know that it's working. Now, masculine and feminine energy that is in deep within divine union, a lot of this work that we're seeing right now, I just need to stress, this is the energy that is working and facilitating a lot of pathwork of progress right now. Why can you do something energetically hard? Because you know that on the other side of it, it'll be easier, right? There's a lot of energy right now deep within divine union that's pushing as hard as they can because they feel like they're on the verge of an energetic breakthrough, right? This is the energy that's like, and feeling that sense of something that gets harder right before a breakthrough point, right? A lot of the energy deep within divine union, understands that sometimes it's in that moment where like you feel like you want to energetically give up and you just push a little bit harder, that sometimes you have that breakthrough point. So we see even now like a lot of the energy in that modality and giving one another encouragement along the way. Fourth and fifth card in our 5-card spread for today. Before we move into clarifiers of these cards, we have here our 9 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 8 of Pentacles in its reversal. Today might be frustrating. I'm just going to come out and say it. These are some of it here is energetically frustrating. Now, why are we seeing some of that energetic frustration? Remember the lesson that we saw right now, navigating forward from that Aries full moon energy. What was the Aries full moon energy trying to teach us? The reminder that when you're feeling energetically frustrated, don't just amplify the frustration. This isn't the type of energies that says, when I'm having a bad day, I'm just going to make my day's journey one of making everyone else's day awful. This is a lot of the energy that says, make it work, make it work, make it work, right? So we see even now, right? We see even now that a lot of the energy is like, what does conviction say? What is conviction? What is that delightful energy of convictions that says, doesn't matter what the circumstances are, doesn't matter. We're gonna make it work. We're gonna do what we got to do. we're gonna make it work, because that's what conviction is. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where you energetically place something. Conviction says we're gonna make it work. So we see even now like a lot of that energy recognizing and understanding what they have to work with. Like, there's a lot of energy today. I just see a lot of energy being like, all right, this is what we got to work with. Like, this is what we got. And that can sometimes feel disempowering, right? It can feel like, but like, there's also, and I want to say this, for the energy deep within divine union, this is the energy that looks towards one another and says, this is what we got. We're going to make it work. And for the energy deep within divine union, and the energy coming into divine union, the same energetic message to a certain degree, which is that state or space of saying to one another, this isn't easy. This isn't hard. This is like hard, but it's working, right? And that sense, like that feels like an air of relief, right? Because that modality of saying this is hard, but it's working, feeling that pathwork of process, feeling that pathwork of progress. This is the energy coming into divine union that is having breakthroughs. And in the point of having those breakthroughs, it feels energetically overwhelming because it's recognizing the ability to do something in a way of creating a sense of discomforture, which is becoming more comfortable, and that's looking at something but that feels a little difficult at those moments because it sometimes creates a little bit of that energetic burden in terms of looking at the past and having some feeling of regret towards oneself. I'm going to say it again. If you're learning something, you cannot be upset at yourself. You have to say to yourself, I give myself grace because I recognize that I'm learning and I see something in a way that I couldn't see it before. Continuing to get clarification for the energy in separation. This is a lot of the energy in separation. Feeling validation in separation. And this is a lot of that same lesson that we saw I gotta say it even now, there's some energy here, getting a little nostalgic right now in separation. But there's a lot of self-review that I'm potentially seeing right now for energy in separation. What is the energy in separation saying to themselves? Looking back on the past and reaffirming and redefining something and looking and saying, can't energetically fix something if someone doesn't feel like it's broken. Can't energetically heal someone if someone doesn't desire to be healed. That ability or that modality of recognizing and saying to oneself, even as you proceed forward, is there anything else that one could energetically do from the past? The energy goes, no, because there's a lot of that energy here that I'm seeing that, again, re-amplifies that same sense of energetic commitment. And I have to say, there's a lot of invested effort right now for the energy that's in separation, because a lot of this work that I'm seeing, this is energy that articulates and says to themselves, healing from a circumstance or situation, right? And even here, navigating that space, this is that recognition point in terms of looking at the past with clarity, optics, a lot of that Scorpio energy coming in, like just being able to look at something in a way that you're able to see all the aspects to it. And so we see even now that for so much of that energy, navigating through that energetic journey, that ability of identifying and feeling affirmation is occurring presently in separation. And I see that a lot of that energy in separation right now is feeling a lot of catharsis in the energetic connections that they're making at this time. And a lot of the energy is effectively saying to themselves and to one another that desire, that what can be healed, anything can energetically be healed, so long as there's mutual agreement on what needs to be healed, right? So that ability of doing so, this is a lot of that energy that reaffirms that sense or space. I see even now a lot of energy coming into potential new energetic connections and being like, there is an easement here. I see it. I see his energy being like, this is easy. This doesn't feel like work. I can see the energy going, this doesn't feel like work. And even then, like, I almost see some energy in separation coming into new energetic connections and being like, this feels funny. Why does this feel so easy? Like I see some energy going, why does this feel so easy? And it's because energy is coming into alignment with energy that has the same perception. And one of the things that it's like it sneaks up on you, right? It sneaks up on you because it's that sense or that space of easement. I even see right now, there may be some energies, oh geez, it's gonna be one of those Scorpio seasons. Like one of those seasons where someone like is like, no, they're just they're a friend. Are they just like, I see a lot of this energy kind of like going into that transformation because of the easement that they're energetically feeling with someone. It doesn't feel like work. It feels like something that, like I told you, like a bit of that, pleasant surprise to a certain extent because of the comfortability of something. It's giving like favorite sweater kind of energy. You know what I mean? Like it's cuffing season. Oh, it's giving like a lot of cozy. Okay, it's giving a lot of cozy, comfy, which makes sense. Continuing to get clarification, and this is a lot of the energy saying, I'm looking for easement and consistency and comfortability, right? So yeah, continuing to get clarification between our Eight of Swords in its upright in combination with our Magician in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Wands in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy in separation. I feel like this is a lot of energy that's just like, it's giving like weekend vibes today. What's going on? It's giving like a lot of weekend vibes here. We've got a lot of this energy here that, I almost feel like a lot of that, and there's a lot, this is extremely intimate right now. for energy that's in separation. I'm just identifying this right now. Like a lot of this energy here in separation, not feeling inclined to, like, I want to say put on, like, not like put on, like that space or that place, the thing that we bring to the, like, to others, right? Like, this is a lot of that energy that is just looking for comfortability right now. Like being able to just kind of be in that relaxing modality. Masculine and feminine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. I mean, can you see these two right now? Like these are energies that are very much in alignment in this way. But there's, like, you know, there's a lot of that easement here is what I'm seeing. And I want to say even now, like, one of the things I like about this is I see, like, a lot of new energetic connections that are potentially coming, like, developing right now, and they're being articulated upon, saying, you know, it feels very comfortable to talk to you. It feels very easy to talk to you. I don't feel like I have to put up, like, a false sense of self, if you will. So this could be a lot of intimate conversations that are potentially happening right now, particularly with energy in separation. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, I'm just recognizing that for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, this is a lot. I want to say this is harder, because this is a lot of the energy having those intimate conversations, letting their energetic guard down to a certain extent, right? And what's difficult about that is this could be a lot of that space or place of recognizing what the energetic hurdle is, and feeling like that hurdle is being removed to a certain extent, specifically because I want to say there's a lot of energetic authenticity that is occurring right now for the energy coming into divine union. Why is that occurring? Because this is the energy that's had that conviction, right? And when we have conviction, we can be very honest with ourselves, right? Like that honesty is pervasive. And so we see even now, like, a lot of that honesty, I want to say a lot of this energy coming into divine union, having that internal conversation externally, right? Being able to show one another their vulnerabilities, coming into that space of feeling energetically safe to communicate in a way. And for both of these energies right now coming into divine union, there feels like something profoundly restorative that's occurring right now in that process. You know, and a lot of that, it says to me, like, a lot of that energy articulating upon the energetic value of the connection. Now, and a lot of that here, like, I see a lot of that energy, and I need to stress this. For a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now, this is not an energetic connection wherein someone is saying that they're moving away from their own self to be able to perpetuate or come into the energetic connection. This is the energy that says to one another, we're creating a space where we're learning to be more authentic as we go, not allowing the energetic ego to intervene, right? And because, you know, what does the ego want? The ego wants things. You know, the ego has desires. So if these are the energies right now, do you see this? This is the energy right now expressing the work in feeling that mutability around outside desires that is pervasive on looking towards one another and healing energetically. So there's a lot of this energy here. This is like at the heart of intimacy, like speaking towards the care that they hold towards one another and being very open and authentic in that process. It's hard, it's difficult, but we see even now, like, that's some of that uncomfortability that's creating breakthroughs. Now, for masculine and feminine, deep within divine union, so much of this energy working deep within divine union right now, I just see the energy working tirelessly, just picking one thing, like one thing after another, after another, after another, after another, and even to an extent of like something that would have been an energetic hurdle in the past, like not even like, not even like being a hurdle. Because yeah, when you're moving, I need to point this out, like when you're moving really quickly, okay, you probably experienced this. Something that if you were moving at a slower speed would have like completely like, knocked you for a loop. Like when you have that momentum, you can move through things a lot easier and a lot faster because you're so driven towards a particular purpose. And so we see even now that for a lot of the energy, I just identify that this is energy deep within divine union that is learning to navigate something that would have created like a major volatility point with like, just like without like, it's like the molehill that's now become the mountain that's become a molehill. The mountain that's become a molehill, because this is the energy that like when one is building upon conviction, it allows for that sense or that space of surpassing energetic problems to a certain extent. And so I see even now like a lot of that energy just kind of like rolling with the punches in a way, because that is the energy that's moving forward with such conviction. Continuing to get clarification between our Magician card in its reversal in combination with our Five of Pentacles in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Sun card in its reversal. I mean, it's upright. What am I saying? Reversal. I've been having to talk about so many reversals. So for masculine and feminine energy right now, that is, deep within divine union, I'm just seeing even now, this is energy that is so focused, like so driven right now in terms of in relationality to doing the best that they energetically can. It doesn't allow a context to allow oneself to be frustrated on things that aren't going well, right? Because when you're moving in that directionality, it feels overly indulgent to have to focus on negative things when you're working so hard or so tenaciously to build into points of positivity. So we just see even now that for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, I almost see the energy going, I don't have time. I don't have time to struggle over the personal inadequacies. I don't have time to struggle over those little wounds to the ego. This is the energy that it's like when you're working with that tenacity, things become less energetically precious, because this is the energy that says moving towards something with conviction is such that it creates that space that you don't take things necessarily personally. So we see even now like a lot of that energy just continuing forward in that vibration to a certain extent. And it feels positive because it feels like the positivity that they're not only giving back towards themselves, but they're trying to bring forth in like every capacity around them to a certain context. Now, for masculine and feminine energy right now coming into divine union, for a lot of this energy coming into divine union right now, this is a lot of that work that I'm seeing even now. Like this is feeling like energetic breakthroughs. They're hard breakthroughs though. They're hard breakthroughs. Why are they hard breakthroughs? Because we're seeing even now that the recognition point in seeing and identifying something that you can change within the self, it's a positive, it's like, it's like, oh, okay. Like, it's like that self-correction kind of energy to a certain extent, but also allowing for that context of a lot of energetic perception. So we see even now that there's a lot of that energy that is doing something difficult, and they're having those modalities of success. They're feeling the energetic work paying off to a certain extent, particularly in the realms of building into partnership. And a lot of that energy is recognizing and identifying that that's hard work, because they're moving the ego aside in relationality to coming towards one another from a place of openness and honesty, building upon that mutually shared conviction. And it's healing. It's healing. It's affirming. But I want to say it's a little energetically humbling, right? Because, and I have to describe this, right? Like, what do we talk about when we say humbling? We talk about that not from a state of saying that one does not appreciate oneself, but it's being able to come towards another in a place of absolute vulnerability, wherein one says, I don't want to put up an artifice to allow you to mask or to hide my own intentionality. There's a lot of this energy that feels like they're expressing to one another in ways that they haven't before, because they're learning to articulate deeply upon the space of being able to ask for what they truly need. It sounds easy. It's the hardest thing in the world. It's the hardest thing in the world. So continuing for this in this way, we see that for a lot of this energy and separation, we see a lot of the energy and separation almost coming into that same space, doing that internal work within the self, building into that space of appreciating that one's ability to express and to speak towards what it is one needs. I see that a lot of that energy right now is, like, I want to say, being very authentic in that space, right? This is a lot of energy, not beating around the bush in relationality to what one energetically needs. Again, welcome to Scorpio season, because the Scorpio energy is not going to beat around the bush. The Scorpio energy is just going to, go ahead, and they're going to surrender their own energetic ego for the sake of being able to articulate what it is that they desire. So we see a lot of that energy here, and it feels liberating. I'm seeing here, it feels cathartic, because a lot of the energy right now in separation is releasing that feeling of anxiety in relationality to doing that. Because I see even now, like, a lot of that energy speaking forward in such a way that it feels restorative to be able to ask for something simply and have someone say, and just kind of being able to give forth towards it, because you've articulated it. I see a lot of energy being like, well, yeah, you just, you make something energetically easy. You make something energetically easy because you need something and you ask for it. And you don't create any kind of like mechanism by which you have to like figure out what it is. Continuing to get clarification between our Five of Pentacles in its reversal in combination with our Nine of Cups in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with the Star energy in its reversal. I know we've got a lot of reversals right now, so let's discuss them. A lot of this work that we're seeing right now for the energy and separation, I mean, this is like, I want to say, like, this is a lot of the energy to a certain extent. Not like this is like I said, more of that cozy energy to a certain extent. I just see even now so much of that energy in separation, being in a modality of feeling energetically good in a way of not necessarily desiring or needing. Like, this is energy in separation that's losing the need to feel validated. And that's really important, right? Because a lot of that energy here is receiving validation, right? But the validation that they're energetically receiving is not necessarily coming from outside the self. It's coming from within the self first, right? And so even in that experience, I see that there's a lot of that, and this is having a different impact on masculine and feminine energy. Bearing in mind, this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. For feminine energy, that sense or that space of energetic validation is such that we're almost recognizing and identifying that this is the feminine that is trying to come towards masculine from a place of being very authentically the self. And what is the feminine saying to the self as they do so? If there is something about the authenticity of the feminine that drives masculine away, then this is the feminine saying, thank you, higher self, for thank you, higher self, for doing what, like, for bringing that forth, for allowing that to be that modality or context through which that moves the energy that's not for the feminine away from them, right? That's a feminine that's no longer looking at that and going, what do I do? This is a feminine going, what a relief, right? While for masculine right now in that modality, for a lot of the masculine energy in separation, a lot of this work that we're seeing, this is more of the masculine that's working through that same context as it relates to being able to be articulate upon what one aspires and desires to build with the feminine. Because for a lot of the masculine energy, that modality or that space of saying, if something that I articulate forth to feminine as it relates to my dreams, as it relates to what it is I am trying to create with the feminine, moves the feminine away, masculine says, well, that's wonderful, because that sense or that amplification of choice is the gift that we give to one another in the journey of building towards our manifestation goals. This is a lot of the masculine saying to feminine, I don't want to build around you. I want to build with you. Because when we build together, we build strong, right? And so we see even now, like, a lot of that energy in separation, coming towards one another with deep authenticity. But again, it's a little difficult because it's requiring the energy to, like, move the ego aside in the journey of doing so. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, a lot of this energy here, and this is I gotta say, this is hard for feminine right now. When we talked about this, yesterday was a little bit harder for masculine. Today is a little bit energetically harder for feminine, right? Why? Because we're seeing even now, masculine energy right now, working through that vector of learning how to energetically communicate, right? That is empowering, right? Because when you're learning how to do something and you're clumsy and you recognize that you're getting better at it, you feel good. It feels good. It hurts, but it feels good because you're like, oh, I'm seeing an energetic breakthrough. Feminine navigating through a lot of that right now, working through patience, right? That perception, seeing those energetic breakthroughs that one is receiving from masculine, it's fortifying feminine, but at the same time, it's painful for feminine because it is triggering to feminine, because it's reminding feminine of all those experiences in the past where they aspired and desired to experience that. And it made them feel that they were wrong in the context of asking for it. And so we see even now that for a lot of the feminine energy, navigating through that, it's triggering. It's painful, right? It brings out a lot of that frustration because it is the memory of the feminine feeling where, like, having those moments of carrying the weight of something, trying to change it, feeling like nothing they could do was ever energetically enough, when instead they're looking back and saying, I wasn't energetically appreciated in that space. And that's not the feminine coming into a modality of looking towards past masculine and saying, boo, energetic past masculine. This is feminine looking back and going, wow, I was not in energetic alignment with that person. We wanted very different things. I was trying to bake in a laundromat. I was trying to wash clothes in a bakery. Like, a lot of that energy of the feminine saying, taking a gift and making sure that you're in a place where it's energetically appreciated. Because when it's not, it can make you feel like something about you is faulty or wrong. So this is a lot of that energy of the feminine that's healing the heart space in the process of building forth with masculine that is just as invested in doing that work. masculine and feminine deep within divine union right now, this is a lot of that energetic tirelessness that we're seeing, you know? And today is a little bit, again, a little bit harder for feminine. Bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. Masculine, a little bit energetically easier for much the same reasons that we saw right now. Feminine energy, working into that space of appreciating the self, coming into that modality of appreciation. Masculine, and when feminine comes into that modality of appreciation, feminine recalls those moments where they feel like they were less appreciated, right? While for masculine, a lot of that work right now is facilitating, it's more in the practical space. So the reason this is easier right now for masculine is I see masculine working through a lot of this sense of saying there isn't necessarily a problem that I can't energetically solve. As long as feminine is being able to be prescriptive, there is something I can solve here. Feminine working through that context of appreciation. Both of these energies deep within divine union, working through the articulation of the energetic need, right? Now continuing to get and healing along the way, but it's frustrating because I see even now a lot of this energy is working towards a breakthrough point, but it's requiring a lot of energetic effort prior to reaching it. Continuing to get clarification between our 9 of Cups in its reversal in combination with our 8 of Pentacles in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Ace of Wands in its reversal. Now, this is just work. This is like work. Like this is a lot of, and it's giving a lot of that energy today of like, I'm tired of this, Grandpa. like keep going. It's a lot of that type of energy today. But I have to stress this. This is that type of energy that says like keep going to a certain extent, because it's the energy that recognizes that something they're doing is working, right? It's the energy that understands and feels. Now for the energy deep within divine union, this is a lot of that work that feels like you're moving towards a goal right now, having a particular breakthrough point, working and really focused. And what's interesting about it even now is I see that there's a lot of energetic shifting that is occurring right now in deep within divine union, in relationality to what one defines or describes as an energetic problem. Like I just keep seeing that a lot of energy right now that would have like obsessed or like been really stressed about something. I almost see someone being like, huh, what? Like almost like not even bothered by it to a certain degree, because this is energy that when you're working tirelessly with conviction, you know, you don't like it. I just also almost see the energy. I keep seeing the energy being like, I don't have time to worry about that. Like I just see a bunch of energy being like, I don't have to, like, it's not necessarily like, I just see some stuff right now, like some stuff being moved into small stuff, being like, yeah, that's a small problem that needs to be energetically solved. It's not like, you know what I mean? And I have to stress this for a lot of the energy deep within divine union, that recognition point of something that would have like profoundly bothered you, just kind of like, you know, like just like not necessarily disturbing you to a certain extent. This is a lot of the energy right now that's like building into that path work of recognizing and identifying like what their goals are right now. And I see that a lot of that is, you know, I want to say navigating or managing energetic expectations. And I see even now, like there may be a little bit of, there may be like a little dysregulation there. But whatever that is has to do specifically with the sense or with the space of, I told you, the energy deep within divine union is holding their time very preciously. And when you're holding your time very preciously, you don't have time to expend on things that just feel like they're not Like they're creating energetic hurdles, right? This is the energy that's being profoundly practical right now, deep within divine union. And that's why I just keep getting a lot of this message going, I don't have time to worry about that. And almost hearing someone say, like, I don't have time to worry about that, as in saying, my time is energetically precious and I need to expend it wisely, right? Now, for masculine and feminine energy, deep within divine union, a lot of this work that we're seeing, this is the redistribution point. This is the breakthrough in overcoming personal limitations by sharing a mutual conviction in relationality to what it is that you're trying to build together. I just keep seeing this is the breakthrough point for a lot of the energy coming into divine union right now. And I keep seeing that a lot of that, it's like I told you, it gets harder before it gets easier, because this is a lot of the energy that is identifying the hurdles within that may have caused energetic blockages without. And when we experience that, like that moment or that modality of identifying what we can change within ourselves to allow for a breakthrough, this is a lot of that energy that is, again, not holding that. And I have to stress, this in itself is showing how far the energy coming into divine union has grown, because this is the energy that's not feeling frustrated in that experience. They're feeling liberated by it, right? Because this is the energy that doesn't say, oh no, I see something about myself that I've always been this way. This is the energy that goes, oh good, I'm seeing something, I've always been this way. That means I can change it. Like, welcome to Scorpio season. Well, for the energy right now in separation, I just keep hearing that again. Can't fix something that someone else doesn't think is broken. Can't heal something if someone doesn't think something's not healed. I just keep seeing that this is like the song. I just keep hearing this is the song that a lot of the energy in separation is singing to themselves to a certain degree. And that is lightening. That is lightening the energetic load, right? Because that is the energy that feels, they don't feel devastated by something. They feel energetically liberated. And that sense or that space of potentially even encountering potential counterparts that are singing the same song and articulating to one another and saying, this is everything I tried to do to fix something, until finally there was nothing I could do but move away from someone. This is a lot of that energy that's finding one another in that space of healing. And this is not the energy, and what's relieving, what's like a relief here, is this is not energy that is encountering and saying, looking towards someone and saying, and this is where all this authenticity is coming from. Like, this is going to be a very authentic Scorpio season, because I just keep seeing a lot of the energy in separation saying, if something about me gives you the ick, moves you away from me, well then congratulations, because that's the energy that says that, then that's that modality of the energy saying, if I'm okay with me, I want you to be okay with me too. I don't want to feel like I have to energetically change in order to facilitate an energetic connection with you, right? So there's a lot of authenticity I see that's coming in right now with this Scorpio season. Continuing to get clarification between our Queen of Wands and its reversal in combination with our Sun card in its upright. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Seven of Cups in its reversal. Now, masculine and feminine energy right now in separation. I just feel a lot of this. This feels like, how is the energy in separation feeling right now coming into Scorpio season? Because this feels like a breakthrough point in relationality to how you might be energetically carrying something right now. I'm just recognizing and identifying right now. There's a lot of security. There's a lot of security I'm seeing right now for energy and separation in relationality to the choices thus far. Like, I just kind of see this right now. Like, I have a lot of the energy in separation being like, I'm good. Like, I'm good. Like, this, like, and that's the thing. Like, there's a little bit of this, like, ease to this. Like, just kind of like in that space of moving towards, because again, I have to say, a lot of this energy right now is following, like, I want to say following their energetic bliss to a certain extent. Like it feels like the energy being like, I'm moving towards my energetic bliss. I'm building that bliss for myself in every moment. And that's the energy that's not necessary. I need to stress this. This is why this is positive. This is an energy in separation that's saying, oh, like I need someone for happiness. This is the energy that says, I don't look for counterpart to create happiness for me. I just make it myself. Like this is the energy going, I make it myself. Right? And so we see even now a lot of that energy building potentially even into new energetic connections with like a bit of like meh, like a little bit of like, there's a lot of pickiness here. There's a lot of like choosiness. There's a lot of discernment that's happening right now for a lot of the energy in separation. Because if the energy in separation is like, and I need to stress this. This is the energy that says, I'm choosing the self first. And I'm looking for someone that does so as well, so that we can energetically share that space together. Right? And that is really beautiful, because I see even now like a lot of that easement that is coming through. This is the energy that says, I'm not looking for someone to fill. I'm looking for someone to amplify. Right? I'm not looking for someone to fill. I'm looking for someone to amplify. So we see even now, like this is a beautiful energy to be entering Scorpio season with. Continuing to get clarification for the energy coming into divine union. These are the energetic breakthrough points. Because I see even now, this is the energy, again, more of the same. How are things going? Awful. But with a big smile on your face. Like in that moment of being like, oh, I'm having to go through all this process. I'm having to see all these parts of myself I don't want to see. It's great because it's working. Because this is the energy that's articulating and building upon energetic connections with conviction and making and coming into, welcome to Scorpio season, adaptability of the self. Prioritizing energetic commitment. And this isn't the energy, I need to stress this, this isn't the energy that says, I'll do anything to stay in this energetic relationship. This isn't the energy being like, I'll become anyone to stay in this energetic relationship. This is the energy that says, I'm willing to heal the parts of myself that need to be healed in order to facilitate a healthy energetic connection. Those are different things, right? This isn't energy that is transforming away from themselves. This is energy that is becoming more of themselves as they become into that sense of perfecting the self in ways that they couldn't foresee in order to maintain an energetic connection. And they're seeing those breakthroughs. And they're devastating, but they're beautiful along the way. Energy deep within divine union. I just keep saying, pick like no time for anything. Like come towards like decision. Like it's a little bit of Tetris right now. It's a little bit, when you're focusing so much on trying to do all these things, like the clarification point I'm even seeing now is that modality of potentially experiencing something within divine union that would have like knocked you over. And instead being like hardly blinking, being like, what? Like, and just continuing forward to a certain extent, because this is the energy that is prioritizing in such a way that even in their own like reactivity to abandonment wounds or triggers are just like, what? Like, huh? Like, like they're not, it's like over the head, out the window, because this is the energy that's moving with such conviction right now in relationality to what they're building together. Continuing to get clarification between our Sun card in combination with our Star card in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our High Priestess in its reversal. We've got so much feminine energy right now in its reversal. How are my feminines doing right now? Bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. I'm just recognizing and identifying right now. And I have to say, this is more of that like Aries full moon hangover in combination with the Scorpio season coming through. I'm going to say it right now. Feminine energy, Don't get frustrated. Don't pop off today. We always need to be conscientious. We always have to be conscientious in relationality to we always have to be conscientious in relationality to how we navigate things, because the thing is, I always like to point out the difficulty with Scorpio season is Scorpio season has that ability of showing you that little window where you can just go bing, you know what I mean? That little point where you can just go ding, you're like, oh, it'd just be so easy. I could just, oh, you know what I mean? You're just, some of that energy there, navigate, let it clarify, let it clarify, let it affirm. Don't, I mean this in the nicest way possible. Now is not a time, and this is, now is not a time to be energetically petty. I gotta stress it. I gotta stress. And I know I can even see a lot of the feminine energy being because again, and we've got that combination of coming out of Libra season into Scorpio. It can be a little volatile. Okay, it can be a little volatile. And especially with a lot of that Aries moon energy here. Because so much of that, it can feel like that sense or that space of feeling misunderstood. Okay? Feeling misunderstood. Having those moments of feeling that sense of someone does not recognize what it takes to be the energetic self that one works to be, right? And so especially I can see even now, recognize and navigate that space of easement, because I feel like there's a little bit of this modality here of feminine wanting to come into that space of correcting someone. But, let those moments be educational, in a space of energetic compassion to a certain extent. Because I see even now, something that may be akin to some feeling of energetic frustration and potential volatility here. And a lot of it potentially has to do, in the realms of collaboration. Now, because I see so much of this feminine energy here, in its reversal. So this could even be there's a lot of this here is it's requiring that sense or that space of recognition of the self. Now, for masculine and feminine energy, that is deep, in separation. I just keep seeing this here. Feminine's going through that energetic process right now of really, I want to say, not liking, I'm getting here, not liking labels, not liking anything, not requiring them to kind of fit into a particular modality. And so I see even now, especially if there's energy of feminine in separation, I see that this is what I meant about that sense of comfortability, almost wanting to remove energetic artifice. And I can almost see, there's something about the feminine in separation that they're saying, defies definition to a certain extent. And so, that's what I mean with I see so much of this energy of the feminine that's working right now, I want to say on the self to such an extent that there's a lot of trepidation in building new energetic connections. And it's not surprising to see this to a certain extent, specifically and particularly because I feel like a lot of the feminine energy is healing from the modality of past relationships with masculine, wherein, masculine perceive them in a certain way, And then the feminine felt invalidated because they fell out of that energetic perception that the masculine had of them, right? So this is why we see even now that a lot of that feminine energy is in that modality where, I almost see them getting kind of triggered to a certain extent, having, something placed upon them because they're saying it's not as simple as that. Like it's there's nothing simplistic about it. For masculine, I see that for masculine right now, this is a lot of that, and I need to stress this right now for the energy and separation, because this could it feels to me like there may be some room that's happening right now that could lead to some, I want to say, a miscommunication that then allows for a breakthrough point to a certain extent. Because what we have here is we've got the perfect storm of masculine, on that pathwork of healing, trying and doing the best that they can, right? But something even about that, like feminine having to be energetically patient towards masculine, bearing in mind this is not based on gender, but what it feels most aligned to. And it feels a little bit akin to what I'm seeing here, those spaces or places of, if I almost see someone being like, I didn't mean to offend you, and being like, I know, I'm going to assume you didn't, and then coming into that space of being energetically corrective to a certain extent. Because I'm just identifying here that there's something really important about the feminine. I want to say, and I need to stress this, I see a lot of the feminine energy and separation giving new energetic connections the benefit of the doubt and not allowing themselves to be triggered from experiences of the past in that context, right? That's what I meant about some of that work today, in feeling energetically triggered, but not allowing that trigger to inform you, letting that be kind of the educational moment. Energy coming into divine union right now. This is why this work is so difficult, because seeing the feminine, seeing a masculine coming into that space, doing that work energetically with them. When feminine sees masculine that's able to facilitate forward in that way, it redefines all of the experiences that feminine had in the past of the masculine that was not able to do so. So we see even now, that's why even now this is a little bit energetically easier for masculine, because this is masculine that feels like they're having breakthroughs in the process of building with feminine. But feminine is just having revisitations of the past and recorrecting in the process of seeing the masculine be doing that energetic work. While for masculine and feminine energy deep within divine union, this is just, I want to say, feminine working through more that work in terms of not allowing others' opinion of them to define their own personal opinion of the self. Masculine is a lot more adaptable in that way. And I feel like masculine is almost saying to feminine, helping reaffirm and building that sense of clarity. For masculine, I see even now, that's more of the, masculine right now is just feeling frustrated in terms of what needs to be done in a practical space. Feminine is feeling the frustration of navigating the expectations upon them, not impacting or affecting their perception of the self. And so we see even now, that's how the counterparts are helping one another today in that context. Continuing to get clarification between the star energy and its reversal in combination with the Ace of Wands and its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our Five of Wands in its reversal. So the one thing I will say about this, and I see even now, we've been talking a lot about the fact that there's been a lot of energy right now in relationality to closing out cycles by making energetic peace with things, right? When we make energetic peace with things, do you know, it's not a peaceful situation. It's not peaceful to do so. That's there's that modality of recognizing and identifying to a certain extent that sense of vitality that we feel, right? That is that sense or that space of feeling the affirmation of the self in the process. So we see even now that for a lot of the feminine energy, I can see a lot of the feminine energy almost saying to themselves, I've made peace with others' perception of me, right? This is how the feminine energy is healing to a certain extent. This is the feminine energy saying, I've made peace with the fact that I can't energetically please the perception of those around me, right? That's a lot of the feminine energy working forward and facilitating in that way. And even in that context, this is the energy of the feminine reclaiming themselves, right? Because this is the feminine that says, I don't exist to be working towards affecting the perception of others towards me. And for masculine, this is a lot of the masculine energy that's doing this work right now. And this is the masculine that's working towards not being energetically triggered as a result as well. Because I see even now, like that's a lot of that masculine energy that wants to get more energetically defensive towards the feminine, right? And this is the feminine energy almost saying like, listen, don't get energetically defensive on my part. This is a lot of the feminine saying to masculine, like that sense or that space of, again, taking frustration and moving it into a productive place. This is a lot of the feminine almost saying to masculine, don't allow yourself to feel energetically triggered. So we see even now like a lot of that work that's being facilitated right now, deep within divine union. I want to say even now, it's working so tirelessly that the things that used to trigger you don't even bother you to that extent anymore. Continuing to get clarification for masculine and feminine coming into divine union right now. We're just identifying that this is a lot of the energy that something is getting easier. That ability to facilitate, to communicate, to try to have those pathways, to take the energetic notes, if you will. Those are the problems that always have the solutions, and those solutions are now becoming the new habits that are becoming ingrained, that are allowing for the ability to have a healthier energetic connection. While for the energy right now in separation, I just see even now a lot of that desire for consistency and easement. Feminine looking towards masculine right now in a way of not feeling like they need to fulfill a role for the masculine. Masculine, like feminine really trying to be their most authentic self. And there's something about that authentic self that almost feels like it defies definition. While for masculine energy and separation right now, I just see that like a lot of the masculine energy is coming towards feminine to a certain extent. And I want to say articulating from a place of not assuming, but wanting to know. Like a lot of that energy here of masculine looking towards feminine in separation. And, this feels like this almost feels very easy in the sense that I'm identifying a lot of the masculine energy in separation right now. It's not looking for something. It's like it's not looking to do something energetically grand. It almost feels like something about looking and desiring something very simple. Like there's a lot of comfortability here. And I like that because this is a lot of the energy looking towards the feminine and appreciating and expressing towards feminine in separation the fact that there's something about the fluidity in conversation or the fluidity that they're building with a feminine that's redefining their own ability. I almost see a lot of masculine saying it's very easy to speak towards you. It's very easy to converse with you because these are the energies that are finding one another in alignment, continuing to get clarification between our Seven of Cups in its reversal in combination with our High Priestess in its reversal. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Cups in its reversal. So a lot of this energy right now of feminine in its reversal right now. There's a lot of this energy in reversal, but I have to stress that one of the things that I'm seeing right now, I feel like the best way to describe this is the feminine energy that's like working through that process of building into a sense of being very comfortable with the self. Like I just identify here that this is a lot of the feminine energy in that state or in that space of not feeling that need to like energetically, I want to say like be present in the way that someone else defines or desires them to be, right? I just keep seeing this here right now. And I keep seeing that a lot of that feminine energy in that, and especially for the energy right now of the feminine in separation, I kind of see that even here, there's a lot of this energy that's just kind of in that space of wanting someone that they can be their most authentic, natural self with. And then the nice thing that I'm seeing here is for a lot of the masculine energy at this time, I feel like masculine in separation is also seeing that as well. The difficulty or hurdle or the difference that the masculine is feeling at this moment, I want to say, has to do more with the energetic trepidation that they're potentially recognizing of feminine towards masculine right now. And I can see why that feels so difficult, because I see even now like a lot of that energy of the masculine looking towards the feminine and trying to articulate and say to them, I know why you have your energetic guard up. I know the energetic wounds that you're carrying. And I know it's easy to want to put me into the context of the masculine energy that is not focusing and prioritizing their healing journey. I just see a lot of the masculine energy coming towards feminine and saying, like, allow that context so that I can show you. I'm not even going to try to tell you. Just give me the opportunity to show you that authenticity is one, that I'm not just saying something. It's something that I inhabit. So I see even now, like I told you, a lot of that energy and building forward into a place of trust. It's difficult, but it's also reaffirming. Now, masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now, that ability of seeing, of working towards this. I see even now, feminine energy being able to articulate upon those spaces and places of breakthrough. I'm just seeing this even here. This is a lot of authenticity. I just see a lot of feminine energy right now being extremely open and honest in relationality to building into a context with masculine. And I see even here that ability of the masculine to come into that space or state of being able to hold space to the honesty of the feminine. These are how these energies are healing right now. And a lot of it, and I need to articulate this, I feel like a lot of this is happening by the feminine expressing and expanding upon their frustration to the masculine, right? And what is the masculine energy kind of working through right now? This is a lot of that work of the masculine saying, like, and I can see it even now. The difficulty for some of the masculine right now doing this work is making sure that you don't become overly prescriptive in relationality to the feminine, just feeling that need to energetically vent. Because I see even now that ability of the feminine just having some kind of modality where they can express their frustration or express like the weight that they feel that they're energetically carrying. Like that ability of the masculine not taking that personally, but almost recognizing the gift of the feminine in feeling like that is the energetic outlet through which they're able to express something. This is a lot of the masculine energy learning to hold emotional space for feminine. The difference between the masculine taking that personally or versus the masculine saying, what do you energetically need right now, right? While continuing for the energy deep within divine union right now, there's a lot, I want to say this is a lot of the feminine energy moving into that state or space of, I want to say, coming, I want to say there's a lot of nostalgia here that's happening right now for the energy of the feminine deep within divine union. And a lot of it has to do with perceiving past versions of self, looking at one's own past with different optics right now. And I'm seeing even now that for a lot of the feminine energy in that modality, that's where some of this inner child healing is starting. Like this is a lot of the energy of the feminine deep within divine union going through some deep inner child healing right now in terms of perceiving something in different ways, and that ability of the feminine trying to conform and meet the expectations of others. This is that energy that's healing, but it's a lot right now is what I'm seeing. I'm also seeing that this is the energy that's like so overwhelmed in relationality to the work that they're doing on top of the emotional or energetic work that they're doing in that space, that it's like only has room for the practical right now. Now, for masculine energy in deep within divine union, this is feeling more practical. But I also see that this is masculine energy trying to navigate and manage the expectations that are being thrust upon them from a lot of different directions. And this is, again, maybe potentially even masculine having a feeling similar to what the feminine has experienced in the past in relationality towards, feminine looking towards masculine to fix things. But again, the feminine being in that space of reaffirming to masculine, saying, it isn't your job to fix things. Your intrinsic value lies in who you are, not in your ability to affect things. So we see even now, like this is how that energy is continuing to heal. Continuing to get clarification between our high priestess in its reversal, in combination with our 5 of Wands in its reversal today. May I please have one card to clarify? Clarification coming through right now with our Queen of Swords in its reversal. There's a lot of this energetic energy right now. Focus. This is oh, it's just be one of those days for feminine. I'm giving all the feminine energy right now a hug, because so much of this energy that we're seeing right now, it's navigating frustration. It's navigating frustration. It's feeling energetically frustrated. But the beauty, and I want to say this, like the beauty of the feminine energy is that the feminine energy is like water. It flows. Like it's like I see a lot of this feminine energy being in that state of just moving through something to a certain extent that is absolutely beautiful. Because this is the feminine energy that like almost articulates and says that ability of finding a way, like that is the energetic gift of the feminine. And that ability of like releasing and forgiving oneself in the process of doing that. I want to stress this because I know that like from the perceptual observation of these cards, it looks like this is a feminine, like in a lot of this reversal, but I'm actually seeing that this is feminine energy going into a flow state to a certain extent, right? Because what happens when, like, and I need to point this out, what happens when it feels like you can't necessarily energetically serve the demands or the desires of those around you? You just do whatever the heck you were going to do in the first place. Like, this is the energy. Like, this is the energy of going, I'm just going to do whatever I want. Like, it's a lot of that energy that's like almost in that space of just like allowing oneself to have that energetic breakthrough, right? Because this is a lot of that energy that like moves into that capacity of effectively like working into the context of recognizing and identifying. And just like, I want to say, like doing the things that one needs to do and not worrying so much about how it's being energetically done. That there's beauty in that, right? And so it's actually saying to me that even though a lot of these energies, I mean, there's so much of this energy, and I need to stress this because so many of these cards are in the reversal, it's actually being indicative of an energetic breakthrough, because this is indicative of an energy of feminine that is not worrying so much about the energetic expectations of both the self and those around them. While for masculine energy right now in separation, this could be a lot of that work that feels like it's being facilitated upon masculine coming towards feminine from a place of deep energetic authenticity. So we see even now that there's a lot of energetic confidence, or a lot of like, I need to say this. This is more the energy of the masculine coming towards feminine in a brave way, because I see even now that masculine, so you can see how that is coming through right now, masculine being very energetically brave right now, because that work in terms of identifying and articulating and speaking from a place of authenticity. And I have to stress this is the experience of the masculine, feeling this is all of the anxiety I see right now of the masculine coming towards feminine from that state of authenticity, because I see that this is the masculine having that anxiety and saying, what if the feminine takes it the wrong way? What if the feminine takes it the wrong way? What if the feminine takes it the wrong way? Because I see even now, this is a lot of the masculine energy surrendering that energetic outcome and just being in that space of saying, I'm coming towards feminine from a place of authenticity, because that ability of being energetically authentic, the energy that's for me will not be pushed away as that. They'll come towards me in that space, right? So we see even now, like a lot of the masculine energy navigating that. This is deeply healing for the masculine, because it's acquiring the emotional bravery of being authentic to feminine and relinquishing the energetic outcome in relationality to how the feminine will receive it, right? Like almost like allowing that validation of taking that energetic risk of that authenticity that is the gift. Now, for masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union, this is a lot of that unpacking that we see that's occurring right now for energy entering into divine union. And a lot of it is potentially feminine divesting themselves of energetic frustration. And I need to stress this though, this isn't the feminine energy taking it out on the masculine energy that they're building into divine union with. This is the feminine energy that almost feels like that sense of being able to amplify their own frustration in relationality to the demands that are thrust upon them, and the inability, right? The inability of feminine to be able to be everything for everyone, right? I can almost see the feminine energy going through that process. And this is the same energy deep within divine union, saying, this person expects me to be this person expects me to be that. This is the energy that says, I cannot match and meet all of those energetic expectations. And so we see even now, like a lot of the energy of the feminine coming into restoration in that process. What is masculine doing in that work? Masculine is being energetically present for it. Masculine's moving out of the modality of feeling like that need to fix something, but almost being able to energetically hold space for feminine in relationality to navigating that. What are these energies doing with one another in the process? Feminine saying, you are not a part of that energetic problem. You are not a part of that energetic problem. You are like, I see almost a lot of the feminine saying to masculine counterpart right now, you are the energetic exception to that rule, right? And masculine being like, I recognize and identify it, but I wish that there was something I could do to energetically fix it, right? And this is the feminine potentially saying to masculine, you do. You exist. Final card for today's spread. And while for masculine, I see even now, this is masculine deep within divine union, having that same process. This is the masculine almost saying to feminine, forgive me, either coming into divine union going, forgive me, I'm in the process of learning. And feminine being like, there's nothing to energetically forgive because you're doing it. Or masculine saying, I wish that there was something I could do. And feminine saying to masculine deep within divine union, you already are. Like you already are. But even here, I can see that that's frustrating for masculine, because there's masculine I see wanting to say that I want to be able to do something else. I wish there was something else I could do, right? Continuing to get clarification, final card for today's spread between our Queen of Cups in its reversal in combination with our Queen of Swords in its reversal. One card to clarify, please. Clarification coming through right now with our King of Swords in its reversal. So what are we seeing here? A lot of this energy right now very much in alignment to a certain extent. We've got the combinations of energies here, both the King of Swords in its reversal in combination with our Queen of Swords in its reversal. So what are we energetically seeing that's occurring right now? Masculine and feminine energy in that space or that state of working towards I want to say that sense of, I want to describe coming towards one another in a space of deep energetic vulnerability. It's difficult when we're in those spaces of deep energetic vulnerability because, particularly and especially, so much of that work that we're seeing right now is like, this is the energy of masculine deep within divine union, feeling the energetic frustration of feminine and recognizing it. And I can see even now, like especially for masculine, that wishes that there was something that they could do to energetically fix something. The feminine almost looking towards masculine and saying, you know, that feeling, like this is feminine almost saying, that's just something I have to carry with me all the time, right? There's a lot of the feminine I see deep within divine union saying to masculine, there's nothing that you can energetically fix about that. That's just the nature of, like, that's just the nature of things, right? And this is, you know, this is the masculine almost articulating and saying, I can do better. And this is the feminine almost saying to masculine within divine union. Like I said, this is the energy saying, you are the energetic exception to the rule because you're doing that work. You're facilitating and recognizing and building into that pathwork of healing. But this is the masculine saying that work is one that this is the energy of the masculine saying, I can understand that. I can understand that. And that's the masculine saying, I feel it too. Because this is the masculine then potentially articulates to feminine that feeling or that anxiety of the demands that are often thrust upon them, and feeling that sense to always want to fix something, or always feeling like that need or desire to have to fix something. This is a lot of the energy that's healing one another. And again, what is feminine saying to masculine right now? Your intrinsic value does not exist in what you can fix. What is masculine saying to feminine right now? You do not, you are your own self. You don't need to fit another person's expectations of you. So we see even now a lot of that energy coming into that state of vulnerability, but also being able to heal one another along the way. While for masculine and feminine energy right now, coming into divine union, this is a lot of that authenticity that's potentially evolving right now in relationality to those energetic breakthroughs, recognizing and identifying what those changes are, doing that energetic work. It's raw, it's intimate, but this is the energy that's saying, I've never had this conversation with someone before. I've never revealed this part of myself before. That ability of being able to speak authentically is becoming the energetic tie that binds. It's bringing a lot of this energy deeper into connection. But it was requiring that hard work to be able to have that energetic breakthrough. While for masculine and feminine energy right now in separation, I just see the fact that there's a lot of new energetic connections that are forming at this time. And the similarity or the feeling of just wanting to do something like, let's just skip to the easy part. Let's just move forward into the space or place where something becomes energetically comfortable. I just see a lot of this energy kind of wanting to remove themselves from the artifice of getting to know one another, and just wanting to build into that context of saying, you know, can we just skip to the part, like, can we just skip to the part where, like, we don't have to go through all of these formalities. And the energy knows that they can't, right? But they wish they could, because these are the energies that are finding themselves in a space or place of deep energetic healing. Bottom of the deck on today's reading, we have here, our 7 of Wands in its reversal. This is like the most hump day reading I've ever seen. There's just so much of this energy right now that is like, it's like, this is the energy being like, this is like the Wednesday that like everyone wishes is like a Friday. This is like the longest week ever. So we're just getting a lot of this like energetic roughness right now in relationality to wanting to come into a space of something getting energetically easier. But I have to stress, and this is also positive in the sense that we're seeing here that there's so much of this energy right now that is working forward in this way. I I want to say it's articulating upon, and this is what I mean about the breakthroughs. For the energy deep within divine union, that ability of working tirelessly right now, it's for the sense of a breakthrough. Like, this is a lot of the energy that's moving in, like, I want to say putting more energetic effort into things because they recognize and identify that there's going to be an easement point. So that's hard, right? Because that's the energy that like is continuing to move forward in that way, but also having that desire. Like, it feels like the energy is running a race, but it's like there's a race with like a very definitive like point where you know something will get energetically easier. And that's why we see so much, like, I want to stress for the energy deep within divine union right now, make sure that you're prioritizing rest, because rest is not separate from that work. It's part and parcel of it. Masculine and feminine energy coming into divine union right now. So much of this energy that we're seeing, this is navigating through one's own boundaries. Listen, healing wounds of intimacy are hard because the wounds that we have around intimacy are often ones that we feel are protecting us, right? So being able to work through that's that moment of building trust. We cannot heal wounds of intimacy unless we are building trust. So a lot of this energy here, it's like they feel like they're healing on two levels, because not only are they building trust in the present, but they're healing from the wounds of the past in the process. While for masculine and feminine in separation right now, this is more of that energy just desiring to skip to the good part, knowing that one cannot, right? Because this is the energy that's approaching one another with trepidation. And again, building trust. What is the vector that you need? Time. So this is the energy that wishes that they could speed things up, but know that they cannot, because the vector that you can build trust and consistency with is time. But even so, we see that there are breakthroughs that are occurring here, because this is the energy that is like, I want to say, at the very least, surrendering artifice in the process, not trying to be a false version of the self, almost approaching someone trying to be their most authentic self, to make sure that there is that energetic alignment. That is our daily collective read for today. I want to thank you guys so much for being here and experiencing it. Just a reminder, if you would like to book a private reading with me, you can book one on my website, graystrega.com. My private readings are done over video, and if you are a subscriber to my TikTok, you can take 10% off any of my services when you pay. Just mention your subscriber name at the point of payment. Please keep in mind, if you book a private reading with me, it is a 2-step process. You have to book the reading, you have to pay for the reading. Please make sure you do both if you'd like to have that reading. Most importantly, please remember that I will never, ever, 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 ever reach out to you for a private reading. I will never DM you. I will never PM you. I will never slide into your inbox and tell you that I have a very important message that only I can deliver. The only way you can book a reading with me is if you book one on my website. So I encourage you to do it there. Also, a couple of updates before we move into personal readings today. First and foremost, thank you to everyone who attended our recent class on the lovers. Our next class will be on Wednesday, November 13th at 6 p.m. PST, 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be continuing our studies in the tarot with a focus on the Chariot card. I am very excited to be able to teach this card. I feel I have had a lot of questions with my students in relationality to the imagery. I'm very excited to be able to walk you guys through it. If you would like to become a part of that class program, all you need to do is head over to my Substack, graystrega.substack.com. Your paid subscription to my Substack will grant you access and entry into each class every month. You will also have access to the full repository of classes and course materials for our previous class. So now is actually the perfect time to join if you're just starting with us, because you'll have several weeks to catch up before we have our next class. It's not necessary to catch up to join that class program, but the information's there for you to read when you are ready. I will also be giving recaps of each class prior to in the class that we are having each month. You will also have access to a one-on-one chat with me and the other students to ask any questions that you may have in relation to anything that we've learned thus far. And if you become a founding member to my Substack, not only will you receive a discount on the full year's worth of classes, but you will also receive a complimentary one-on-one mentorship class with me, wherein I will assess where you are on your own personal tarot journey and give you the best insights in terms of how to utilize those classes to the best of your advantage going forward. One of the things I tried to do with these classes was make them accessible to the absolute novice tarot reader as well as the seasoned reader. There's definitely something there for everyone. So I want to thank you so much if you're just joining us there, and I look forward to potentially seeing you at our next class. Also, if you are a subscriber here on my TikTok, make sure that you head over to our subscriber only Discord channel that you have access to in your perks. You will find there a coupon code to give you an additional discount on those classes. Even if you don't become a paid subscriber to my Substack, I would encourage you to follow me there to stay up to date on any new offerings, services. I post my weekly newsletter there, which will let you know about my in-person events as well as my online live schedule. You will also have access to our giveaway information there. Speaking of giveaways, we are currently in the process of having our October giveaway. If you would like to win a free private tarot reading with me, simply head over to the link tree in my bio. There is a 2-minute travel survey there. Filling out that travel survey will grant you an entry into the giveaway. But if you want to increase your chances of winning, go ahead and forward that survey to a friend, because when I pull the winner, not only will I be gifting a reading to the person that wins, but also to the individual that referred them. So thank you if you've already entered, and I wish you the best of luck of winning this month. Finally, I want to let you guys know that on top of my standard life path readings, I offer mentorship classes. These are for those who are interested in having a more personalized educational experience with me. I take a very limited number of students for this reason. If you are interested in those classes, they can be purchased on an individual level or as a monthly class series, weekly or bi-weekly 45-minute courses, as per your schedule allows. Also, for my clients that are seeking more consistent weekly tarot support, I'm very happy to offer weekly tarot insight packages. That is a package of 4 30-minute readings, weekly or bi-weekly, again, as your schedule permits, so that you can stay more consistent on your personal journey. That said, I wish you guys have an absolutely beautiful day. Please take care of yourselves. Please take care of each other, and we will do this again